Yeah, what's happening? I'm Eugene Hütz from Gogol Bordello. We are at beloved Amoeba, and this is what was found in my bag. Here we go. I didn't see this on vinyl, but it's Zombie Birdhouse, Iggy Pop, produced by Chris Stein from Blondie. Some people consider it to be like super obscure record. This is a very much talked about record in our bubble. In fact, a good friend of mine wrote an essay on this album alone and its importance. It's definitely nothing obscure to us.
The shining moon, the dead oak tree, nights like this appeal to me. I got some loving arms around me.
Kind of a very psychedelic record. It came out on Chris's label, Animal Records, which also released James Chance. By mentioning this, I'm kind of mentioning also great James Chance and the Contortions, because that's just fundamental New York records. Next one, 7-inch from Gorilla Biscuits, one of the most important New York hardcore bands. I'm extremely attached to the whole hardcore movement because that was essentially music that kind of made me feel home when I first came to America in 1990. This was kind of a new wave of hardcore bands back then at 87, 88. So Gorilla Biscuits is credited as originators of the new wave of youth crew hardcore. The songs are great, everything is boiled down, just extremely exciting band. This was on Revelation Records. It's always good to track down, hunt down anything by Gorilla Biscuits. This has members from Youth of Today and Walter Schreifels, who produced their last album.
It's time to stand up for what you believe. Out the fear of your critics. Be better like you think you may be distant from your faith, but it's not you never understand. Be yourself and be the best you can.
Here we go. Veseli Romi. I have no idea what this sounds like, but I'm in. It's Veseli Romi, which means in Romani language, fun-loving Romanis. I think this is probably Serbia or Croatia. This looks like these guys know the roots very well, and then they are taking it to the extreme next level right here. It's one of those things that you probably like go to Macedonia and walk into some restaurant and get blown away with some local act. You know, it was like most tripped out experience you ever had because they're absolute virtuosos and probably never left their hometown. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to chiming in right here. Okay, Einstürzende Neubauten, one of most influential and most important bands for me. This is a very groundbreaking band that kind of gave a voice to their soul using strictly, well, not strictly, they did have a bass guitar from the beginning, but it was mostly industrial tools, sledgehammers, and all sorts of percussions, all recorded in a spooked out acoustic setting. This record is probably most, as they say, accessible to people who are not usually tuned in into that kind of thing. And it has quite a bit of techno influence, which is important because techno is very influential on everything we hear. It's incredibly influential for Gogol Bordello in a way that people perhaps don't cue in, but if you really think about it, punk rock is kind of a rave of its own. This is a very masterful record of Neubauten with extra musicality to it, I would say. Not that they had any lack of musicality before, but this actually had something, as they even say, possibly catchy. Now, anytime you see a face of exhausted carny, you know he's got the vibe down, so you gotta get that. This comes from Greece. It's probably rebetika. I'm gonna take a chance on that. Rebetika is a kind of a music of opioid spas and establishments that they used to have scattered through the Mediterranean. This is probably like some opium dungeon laments about how we're all gonna die. I'm a fan of rebetika, so I collected a lot of records from that world. Yeah, recorded from 1932 to 36. Can't go wrong. Exhausted carnavalieros. They know. Next one, the Messthetics. So the Messthetics, this one features James Brandon Lewis. I've seen Messthetics as soon as they formed. It's Brandon Cunty and Joel Ali from Fugazi, also with Anthony Pirog on guitar. This was already a fantastic band, and when James Brandon Lewis joined in, it became extraordinary, fantastic band. I guess it's a logical progression for guys from Fugazi to lean more into a prog rock fusion side of things. There was always side of that in Fugazi. Joe's bass lines and Brandon's playing, there was always a bit of Return to Forever and early fusion records. This is really kind of a dream scenario of Fugazi fans who were into that side of Fugazi, of that dreamed out, not proggy, but that specific thing that Fugazi did that had other dimensions to go. So this is that dimension, and with the saxophone, this is just going to be explosive experience on any jazz festival, on any rock festival. They're going to be like greatest anomaly of all times. Absolutely fantastic, yeah. This one came out like in April, I think. It's a new Viagra Aboys record. The band is superb live, and they do manage to lay it down on a record as well, quite impressively.
I am a man that's made of me. You're on the internet looking at me. I hate almost everything that I see, and I just wanna disappear.
I really like this new record. Seeing them first 7-8 years ago, it was kind of dead set on being that Stooges Funhouse band, an amazing foundation for any project. But this kind of went in with a more addition of electro sound, subtly implemented in there. It's kind of more Devo influenced side, a little bit of a Butthole Surfers. It's just great band. I'm always watching what they're doing. This, I was really happy to stumble into, the Hypnotics.
Shake it to some good calm.
I'm a huge fan of psychedelic music of all shapes and forms. The Hypnotics had a lot to do with new psychedelia, I guess they called it, and that kind of was bubbling up in England in late 80s and eventually kind of peaked with Stone Roses and Happy Mondays and Charlatans, who were kind of all took it into breakbeat kind of direction. But the Hypnotics were probably the closest to carrying on the vibe of very Stooges meets Jimi Hendrix and doing it right. Replicating Stooges is not something that's really possible. I think through starting with that, they kind of came into their own full-on identity by just keeping it a lot more bluesy and a lot more Hendrixy. I have all of their albums, and unfortunately, they don't have enough bootlegs. This is exactly the kind of band that would probably benefit, because this is like the vibe band that just vibes and vibes and vibes. And if you're into that vibe, you'll never get enough of it. The Hypnotics, yes. This is a record of Grace Bergère called A Little Blood. This was just released on our label, Casa Gogol Records. And this is something not to miss out.
We all come and go, we all come and go, one day we'll go.
As a producer, once in a while you get a freebie where you walk into a new act that doesn't need any prepping and it's really rare. Grace is an unbelievable songwriter. I kind of consider this to be an absolute masterpiece.
The rain is coming down now, and I'm so beautiful, but I'm better off alone.
Lastly, here's the encyclopedia of all the other crazy-ass bands that we release on Casa Gogol Records. This is our first manifesto release. You have Mary Shelley, an outstanding band from New York City, very much along the lines of Talking Heads, Devo, and Viagra Boys, and kind of new spin on things. Pawns, which is a very, very much continuation of no wave New York tradition. You get Puzzled Panther doing a cover of Sonic Youth. A lot of great stuff.
I got some dirty boots. Yeah, dirty boots. I got some dirty boots, baby.
Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't even get around to the soundtrack section. I'd be here for another 6 hours, jonesing for some Ennio Morricone.
We'll have you back for part 2.
Thank you.
Biba!